Happy Friday, everybody. It's a beautiful fall day. I appreciate you tuning in. Today I have the honor of interviewing and introducing our new Chief Administrative Officer, Jahmal Miller.
Yeah.
Jahmal, thanks for being here with me.
Glad to be here.
We're super excited to have him on board. I think this is week 3 for you now.
Yeah.
So Jahmal, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, Peter, and I'm glad to be here as we wrap up week number 3. Time flies when we're having fun, and we've definitely been having fun. I was thinking this morning how timely this opportunity is. I was running this morning and thought to myself that it will be a good time, I've been meeting a lot of our colleagues within the Mercy Medical Group, the Medical Foundation, hospital leadership. But I thought about the importance of having a communication channel, an opportunity to really share with the entire medical group since I've been on board. So I thank you for the opportunity to do this today. And personally, I'm a Sacramento native. I am delighted to just have grown up here, both personally and professionally. Have worked now 23 years in the field of healthcare, and I come to this role as Chief Administrative Officer as part of the Common Spirit Health Ministry. As many may or may not know, I was Assistant Vice President for Equity and Inclusion in Common Spirit, leading our national health equity strategy and initiatives. And to pivot from that part of the ministry to the medical group was a very logical next step.
Sure.
Opportunity. The timing of it couldn't be any better. As I've listened to you and Dr. Schatzel and engaged by way of the interview process with the board of the medical group, it's been very inspirational. And I've been humbled, to have been selected to serve in this role. And my intent is to bring the breadth and depth of my experiences, both in private and public sector, to have value and impact as Chief Administrative Officer. And I think, once again, the time is right to reimagine who we are as Mercy Medical Group, to align by way of our strategic plan the impact that we want to have with the Medical Foundation,
Sure.
With Dignity Health, our hospital system, to Common Spirit Health at large, and being the largest medical group in our system, which I didn't know until the interview process, I think positions us to build upon the successes of the past, but to also really anticipate and plan for the dynamic impact that we will have in the future. So just glad to be here and looking forward to the value and the impact that we're going to bring.
Sure. Now, you mentioned you're a Sacramento native. Your family lives here as well?
Yeah. My family lives here. I have a beautiful wife, Tamika, who you and Vivian met at the board retreat. She's an Oakland native who owns a nail spa in Oakland. It's been open now for 15 years.
Wow.
We have 2 beautiful daughters, Sky and Leah. They're 14 and 12 years old, respectively, and we reside in the Natomas part of Sacramento. So I grew up in South Sacramento, and as shared, earlier in our conversations, was born at Sutter Memorial, and I know we want to keep that on
we
hush.
won't talk about that too much.
But I'm a hometown guy, active on local boards, Crocker Art Museum, California Asian Chamber of Commerce, and I think the intersection of all of those things, professionally, personally, civically, I think will have a unique impact in how I can serve and add value as a Chief Administrative Officer.
No, and it's great to hear that involvement in the community, because that's really what we're trying to get at as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So what are you most excited about in this role?
Oh man, I'm most excited about this phrase that I heard a few times during the interview process of us pivoting from being that best kept secret.
Mm-hmm.
I have always, from outside of the Mercy Dignity Health family, had always heard about Mercy,
Mm-hmm.
And as I have come on board to really get a sense of our mission orientation and to learn the history of the growth of Mercy Medical Group, our primary care providers, our subspecialties, the fact that we've grown to well over 500 providers, both physicians and advanced practice providers. I think we are just well poised and positioned to not only reimagine, who we are, but to pivot strategically from being that best kept secret and to identify with those attributes of excellence and the quality of care that is provided both in ambulatory and acute settings, but also to leverage the unique attributes of how we model and exemplify equity, diversity, and inclusion, not only from a social and moral perspective, but how that uniquely impacts the value proposition of who we are relative to other systems that may not necessarily want to operate and own in the space of health equity. So those are a few things that I'm excited about, bringing a sense of strengthened and enhanced physician relationships, standardization of certain processes and procedures and practices, and more than anything, the three of us in particular working very well in a synchronized way to uniquely add value and impact. So those are just a few things that I'm excited about.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that. I'm excited to see what we're going to build together. You're in week 3, I guess. This is week 3 for you. How do you plan to spend your first 90 days? That's it's always kind of that critical juncture when somebody joins an organization. What's your plan for that?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the words that always comes to mind for me is assessment. Whenever I start anything new, I'm often quiet, and sometimes people get concerned about that. And what I'm doing is assessing and ascertaining a lot of good information and intelligence. I think listening sometimes is a position of strength to learn much about the history, the current state, and ultimately where we want to go, and also listening to the extent that there are opportunity areas for improvement. So I've had a number of meet and greets with some of our leaders. I still have a lot of meetings to have with section chairs, with medical directors. We've met most of the hospital executives in the region. But assessment, what's working well, what's not, what are our opportunity areas moving forward. The other area that's important for me within the first 90 days is just looking at our strategic plan.
Sure. How
well integrated and understood is that strategic plan, and how consistently are we holding ourselves accountable to it? How relevant is it? What, as we think about how we want to potentially revise the strategic plan, what components of that are missing based on the information that I'm getting during the first 90 days, and also where there are opportunities where resources don't exist in our infrastructure. When we think about governance, when we think about leadership development opportunities, organizational learning and development opportunities, I'm plugging in those new resources based on that assessment, the new intelligence, the new information that I get. So within the first 90 days, it's about structure, strategy, framework within which long-term we can operate in to have sustainable and meaningful impact.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to seeing what your findings are. I did my assessment not too long ago, so we'll be comparing notes. And I just want to say I'm super excited to have you as part of the team, and to all of you out there, when you see Jahmal, who is going to be doing some rounding in care centers, please say hi. And if you've got any feedback, we welcome it. We all plan to continue to do rounding. I've been doing some of that myself. So if we've missed you, don't worry, we're going to get back to you, because the goal is going to be to be out there and get to see how you guys are feeling.
That's right.
So with that, just want to wish y'all a happy Friday. Jahmal, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, man. You're a great interviewer.
And we'll give you some time back, and thank you so much, and you guys have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Take care.